So so you've been learning Chassidus for so many years. I mean, since you were little. How has it changed you?
Heh, I'm supposed to say immensely, right? I'm supposed to say immensely, but
I don't know what you're supposed
the
to
next
say. I'm
question is, so
curious.
where's the change? You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
there's an old
How
Hasidic
does it
adage that if you,
and you're a scholar, you know it like so in depth. You're talking about the most profound Maimarim, that you've explained and expounded on. So you would think that that really would change a person. How has it changed you?
before I answer your question, I'm going to qualify the question, right?
Yeah.
The, um, the previous rebbe used to say in Yiddish, the form works better than in English. He would say, "You have learned Hasidus, but what has Hasidus learned you?" And in Yiddish, the word for learning means both acquiring the information and having the information make an impression on you. Hasidus is supposed to refine us. It's supposed to make us more in touch with spiritual things and with the ever presence of God. But it doesn't just happen from the study. You have to live a certain way for the ideas to have the impact that they're meant to have. If a person's personal life is unrefined, chronically, that's just how they live, and they happen to be bright and they study lots of chassidus, they're not going to become a better person. They'll just become a more scholarly person, which would, in a real way, defeat the purpose that the rebbes, that our rabbis had in teaching chassidus. They used to say in the old days that if a person studies chassidus and they don't pray, they don't use the chassidus in their practical life, they shouldn't study it because
Mm.
they're violating it, they're abusing it. I mean, we're living in a different time where anything good that you do is wonderful. So you study Hasidus, even if perhaps your davening, your prayer could be better. I mean, to answer your question honestly,
I mean,
Hasidus,
I would assume that someone who studies it, not just for the sake of the scholarship, but actually for the right reason, which I assume you do, it would change you.
so that's a big assumption, and I'm flattered by that assumption.
Yeah.
And the answer is I cannot say that I don't care about what I learn, but I also cannot say that I maximize what I learn in terms of how I live my life. You could always be a better person, you always be a more precise chassid.
Hmm.
The behavioral life that 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 comes before, during, and after the learning affects the degree to which the learning affects a person. But I want to answer your question directly, if you don't mind.
Hmm.
Chassidus has molded my mind. It's just on an intellectual level. Um, I feel like a lot of people study, many people study, but not that many people study to the extent that their mind is molded by their area of study. I don't know what word to use, but when a person does that, their mind becomes a very exciting tool that they can use in all the areas of life. I was fortunate. I mean, I made this my career. I made this my business. I was fortunate when I first got married. I would study day and night. And literally, that's all I did was study. For the first 15 years of my marriage, before I started my website, every free minute I was studying. And I feel like it's molded my mind. It's molded my thinking, my analytical skill, and
So
my.
in what way has it molded your mind?
I guess ultimately the right answer to that question is intellectual intuitiveness. People who know stuff but don't develop an aptitude at learning are blind. So what they know, but they don't know. People who delve into an area of knowledge so completely that they allow that body of knowledge, doesn't matter what it is, to define them, develop a feel for it. So even what you don't know, you have a sense of. Um, and
And
I
how does that translate, like in real life?
That's a very interesting question. I'm giving you an intellectual answer, and you're asking for a
Right.
human response.
Does it make you a nicer person? Does it make you a better person?
No, no. For me to become a nicer person, a better person, I have to work on my character. And to be honest, naturally, I told you this in the very beginning, I don't have a very high likability factor. It's not I'm a very, very powerful person when you meet me. Not that I'm actually very strong, I just come across very strong. And a kid once told me, Rabbi, I loved you till I met you. He told me straight to my face. So for me to work on my character is a job, is an exercise. Um, does Chassidus inform my working on myself? Only in a general way, because Chassidus talks so much about refining the character. But refining the character is not sophisticated, and it's certainly not lofty and mystical. It's based on exercise. A person has a tendency to say the wrong thing to people, okay? And I guess one of the best examples for that means when you don't know somebody, some people know how to say the right thing. I will usually say the wrong thing. It's just I'm just it's my weakness. I'm an intellectual more than anything else. But
Maybe it's just a lack of awareness.
it's a lack of awareness. It's a lack of sensitivity, and it's a lack of, forgive me, it's a lack of common sense. Really, when in doubt, keep your
Okay.
mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? But I believe that I've made some steps in those directions. You have to ask the people around me how they feel about it, and they may feel that it's not the case. But the idea that Hasidus creates Baalei Midas Tevis, that the study and the life of Hasidus creates people with a refined character. I know it's true. I understand how it's true. But it's not true because you read a lot of books. It's true because you take what the books say very personally and you go through the steps of self-refinement. And I'm very far from finished. I mean, I'm a baby in those areas. I'm telling you the truth.
Wow.